Kristin Engvig is the founder of and CEO of WIN and WIN Conference. She transformed her vision of bringing a more feminine, global, and sustainable vision into work, communities, and life through the creation of the WIN Conference.
The mission is to inspire women worldwide by empowering, developing, and connecting leaders in a way that integrates feminine values, global awareness, and authentic contribution.
Welcome, Kristin. Do you hear us?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm here.
Great. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Thank you, all of you. And it's wonderful to be here. I was listening to the speech just before. Not that I understood very well Czech, but I recognized the language, and it made me feel good because I have been to Prague a few times and Czech Republic, and this language, I recognized it, and it reminded me of good memories. So that was very nice to hear. So thank you also for inviting me here, and Lenka and all the rest of you. It's so great that this day has come, and spring is here. It's 1st of April, and there's so many good things to be grateful for on a day like this. I want to start a little bit about talking about what a women's vision could be for all of us. And also this morning I was reminded that I was reading this World Economic Forum's gender gap report that came out, I think it was yesterday, and it shows that sort of in the classic sense, the gender gap is regressing. So maybe you have talked about that in some earlier sessions as well. And what I want to talk about is this. I saw some comments today on LinkedIn and social media, which was very much like, oh, against what is. So I want us to talk a little bit about the feminine and the masculine and the vision we can have as women today on the planet and our importance in all of this. And before doing so, I just want to bring you back who I am. I am Kristin, and I come from Norway. Actually, I grew up on the west coast of Norway, fjords, islands, lots of sea. I was watching every day when I was a little girl and a teenager, this open sea, and it made me want to travel because I was seeing boats coming and going. And anyway, I didn't travel before far into my adult life, but then I did a lot of traveling. Then I traveled the world a lot, and one of the things I saw was that in so many places women didn't have the same freedom to choose as men. I mean, not all people have freedom, not even all men, but I saw it was astonishing to me to see the difference between women and men. And when I grew up, Norway already had a female prime minister, and I had almost thought that was obvious. And then when I traveled around, I saw, wow, the gender equality is not like that all over the world. Not that it's 100% perfect in Norway either, but it was a little bit easier for a woman there than in some other places. So I thought, wow, we need to do something about it. And this is more than 20 years ago. And I was living in Italy at the time, and I'd also worked in finance. I was working in banks and enjoyed it to a big degree, in the sense that I enjoyed doing my job. I liked the tasks, and I was pretty good at it. But at the same time, it was also something that didn't really fit. And I couldn't really put a name on it. It was not so easy to see what was it that was wrong, but something felt wrong. And in retrospect, I realized it was the culture. It was this culture of not feeling included. And I think everybody has had a feeling in their life what it means to be excluded. We talk a lot about inclusion. And then I realized that, everybody isn't included here. And I also realized that it was something about not only at the time being a young person, because I was a young person, but I also realized it was this thing that when a corporate culture, a company culture, or a society even is made by men, designed and structured by men for men, and we women come in there, sometimes we feel uneasy, and we don't know always what it is, because it can't always be put words on. But that was an experience I had in my early career. then I thought, just like you are doing here now, let's bring women together. And I invited top speakers that were older than me. And sometimes I saw also that their sacrifices have been really hard. Like also that they had to adopt into big models that maybe weren't the way they really were, their authenticity. And I thought, could there be another way? So I started this exploration back 20 years ago on figuring out, could we as women find also more authentic us also in the workplace? Is there such a thing as a more feminine leadership way? So I began doing yoga, meditation, exploring all of these things. And I saw, okay, in the feminine, it's about receptivity, and the masculine is about action, goal setting, strategy, competition. The feminine is also intuition or collaboration or sense of beauty. And I thought, this is what's missing. It's not giving enough value, not even by women. And I thought, this is the thing we need in the world, because we need this sense of long-term of the feminine, also for our nature, for our organizations, and for our very life. So then started my advocacy, which I felt was easiest done by giving people an experience of what this could feel like and be like. And I started this work based on a few principles that I want to share with you, because it can be that it resonates also with you. And that is that, first of all, to give value to everything feminine, because I realized that it's not only about women and men. It's not only about waking up the men so that they are aware of our value. We have to do that work, and the work of men, they have to work with themselves too, because our future is all about working together, young and old, women, men, different nations, different expressions of who we are. But I also realized that even women, we are also been part of the horizon of being controlled and dominated by the patriarchy maybe for 6,000 years. So even us sometimes give higher value to something of the masculine. And I've seen it sometimes when we do big conferences and we have evaluation forms, and how always the men speakers came out the best, even if the people who were doing it was mostly women. And I thought, yes, they are good, but what do we also think so? So I started to think about that too. What is it even in me? Maybe I am not even giving value to the beauty, the caring, the sharing, the intuition of me. So I started this exploration, and I invite you, if you haven't already done so, to continue to do so too. So my work, I started to look, how can we create a world that is truly inclusive, both of people from different countries, different ways, and different nationalities, and all the diversities, let's say. I call this global. And I realized that how to do that is best when we meet and become friends. Like I know Lenka here from before, also both of the Lenkas here I know from before, because I've spent a lot of time on meeting people from different countries, and that's been a curiosity of mine, and I love doing that. And I think we have to do, diversity just doesn't come on its own. So I invite everybody to reach out to someone different than themselves. It doesn't need to be from a different country, but make sure we have intergenerational conversations, that we stretch a little. And this stretching to embrace diversity is not only about including the other. I've also learned that when I meet someone different from me, they are a mirror of me. So I also learn. So this is why this is so important. And many people talk today about don't judge. But then also I've discovered that sometimes we do automatically. So the biggest job is that we catch ourselves, like we start looking at, when am I judging? Even when am I judging myself, just as others, and try to become aware of that. So that's important as we become truly inclusive citizens and inclusive women. And part of that inclusive is also that sometimes we can't include everything. So we take a stand and we never accept unacceptable behavior. Now, here's the thing. that I think is very important today is that we take a stand for something. So instead of fighting against, we try to fight for. So we take a stand for something. Because it's very easy to see what we don't like. It requires more courage of us to take a stand for our dream, what we want to see happening. And this is what is a huge job right now for all of us. What would I like the world to look like, be like, and feel like? What would I like my workplace to be like, look like, and feel like? What would I like my own life to look like and be like and feel like? So that's an invitation to all of us that we are disciplined in fighting for instead of against, you know. So or take a stand is maybe a better expression here. Another aspect of this work that I believe is how to create a world with women's vision, besides making it inclusive. What about our own authenticity? How about asking ourselves continuously, who am I? And what can I be? And sometimes now, I don't know in your countries, but in so many places now, everybody talks about authenticity. I want to be me, and so on. And then every day we change a little. So I think this is a very interesting journey to write and to journal and to go on the exploration of who I am and look at that. And then look at our values and our purpose. Why are we here? And then again, take a stand for it, because sometimes there's so many temptations to fit in and be different. But I think now women, we have also a possibility in this time, but also responsibility that we really take stand for nature and for our own expression. And then to remember we are all interconnected. Every little thing you do has an impact somewhere else. And I think many women have that capacity to see that, the connection between nature and our work. If I pollute, if I have a company that's making a lot of waste or pollution, that impacts on somewhere else. And I think many women have that more long-term perspective. And we have to take a stand for that, not just let it go because it's convenient. So that's one of the things when we are looking for who do we want to be as leaders of the future or citizens of the future. Take a stand on this long-term perspective and sustainability, understanding that everything is interconnected and we are part of the community, just like here meeting today. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. I was just thinking about that. It's okay, yeah, good. Now, another part I believe of our leader of the future and is that of our being full humans, full women. Now, I lived in Italy a long time. And when I started WIN, I was living in Milano and I had worked in banking. And I remember everybody wanted me to do very focused work, to be very specialized. Now, that's okay, but it got a little boring for me. I don't know about you, but if you are just doing one thing all the time, it's like, you know, I'm not all of that. I'm so many more things. And I remember this figure of Leonardo da Vinci, with this, is a Vitruvian man, actually. I don't think it was even his. This man who stands out with his arms up and so on. And the concept of the Renaissance man, this holistic being that was both an artist and a scientist, you know. I'm sure you have that in Czech Republic too, and if not, you have seen this picture from Leonardo da Vinci, who was this genius of our time. And we want to be geniuses, right? So if you want to be a genius woman, Renaissance woman of our time, we also want to be more than just one thing. So we might be sisters, mothers, for sure we are daughters. We may have hobbies of art. We may be in the day in a factory or in a bank or whatever we're working. So we are so many different things, but we are also not just analytical beings in our left brain. We are in our right brain. We are in our hearts are warmed, our belly gets excited, and our mind gets stimulated. So I think the leader, the Renaissance woman, the new woman leader of our time is a whole woman. So she's she's embracing her feminine side. She says yes, she receives things. She smells the flowers. She's in her senses. She appreciates beauty. And yes, she gets things done. She can say no. She has many of these qualities, and all of them are important. So the production part of her is not the only one that's important. And here's something I've been confronted with many times when I do my meetings or things. I put the flowers, maybe we have music. And sometimes when I had a little bad situation with the money and the budgets, and I have had advisors looking at this, and they say, Kristin, you can cut the music. You know, we can get rid of the decoration. And I said, no, why should I get rid of the music? The art is equally important as the others. And then I realized that we have to fight for it, because a lot of people will want to cut it. So you have to take a stand. No, this is important. It's equally important to have the violinist in the beginning of the thing, or something like that. You know, so I just want to share with you that as a whole being inside, we want to create that also outside, so that in our companies, we know that the value of a team, or the glue that binds us together, the nice atmosphere that's intangible, that's equally important as the tangible. So as or being whole humans, appreciating whole things around us will lead us to a better future, because it's so easy to get also tired if it's only mechanistic. Okay, and that leads me to another aspect of this future leader that is global, inclusive, authentic, and sees the interconnection of things and holistic. Instead of being creative and innovative and feeling inspired, because now we have a lot of disruption. This year is the year of disruption. And it's not only because of COVID, it's also an acceleration of technology changing. I mean, look here, we are on Zoom, and Zoom is coming with new inventions all the time. There's more and more things that are accelerating also from technology and AI. And if we manage it humanly, right, hopefully it will help us with many of the mundane tasks, and maybe we have more time for creativity. But meanwhile, we need to make space for it every day. I have noticed sometimes in my life, there's a time I was slightly depressed. I didn't know why, couldn't figure it out. And then I realized I was just doing mechanic things. I was answering emails, doing just normal things, and I didn't create anything. And then now I make sure I do something creative every day, even early in the day. So at least, you know, somehow bake a cake, do something sensory, but for pleasure also, or write a piece. For me, that's important. I mean, not everybody has the same need for creative expression, but most humans have some need for that. So it's always make sure that, you know, even in playing with kids or with elderly, or, you know, or when we're cooking, that we do it consciously for the joy also when we can. It's not always easy. Sometimes it's an obligation, but to find this little creativity so that we keep our vital force alive when we move and we do things, because we are gonna create this new world that is more balanced with the feminine and the masculine. So we need our vitality, and our vitality comes, yes, from physical movements, and so we did some, but also for this beautiful aspect of creativity. Another aspect I think is important, I mentioned it a little bit, is a focus on possibilities. Now there are a lot of problems in the world, many, many, many problems. Just read the newspapers, it's terrible. And we want to focus on where there's open spaces, where are the possibilities, and take a stand for things, for the good things. And an exercise I've learned from theater is this: if you, even in your room, if you look outside behind you in your living room or where you're sitting, there'll be chairs, there's sofa, there's tables, and there is an empty space. And we go to the empty space. Also, when we're making things, where is it room? So instead of heating competition, we look for the empty spaces, for the new things. And we look for where there are possibilities, and we try to train our brain also to go more there than where there is already close and no possibilities for ourselves. And then last but not least, we try to be practical about the things and get things done, because that wonderful of a healthy masculine that we have inside us is structures, getting things done, and focus. And also want to say in this world, it's so wonderful also to work with men. So this work for women is not about getting rid of them. It is all about this collaboration and taking up our space, which is so needed for the future, both for women and men. So I think also now that we have a very bright future, I think it is a time where we can't hesitate so much more. So when I saw these statistics, oh, you know, terrible gender gap is getting worse and so on, I thought, yes, maybe it's getting worse. But I also know one more thing. I have traveled the world. I speak to women from Africa to South America to Prague to everywhere. I know another thing too, and that is around the planet, women are also waking up. I think we have more courage. The knowledge and experience we always had. Women are good at school, you know, but now I think also inside of us, we have this courage. We know we can. And where we doubted ourselves so much before, we're doubting a little less. The story of this I'm not enough and my self-doubt, we are starting, so we are not sure if that's so true anymore. Do you agree with me? I mean, yes, sometimes it happens that we think, oh God, I can't do this. But it is as if that voice is getting a little bit tired and we don't like to hear her anymore. And if that is happening all over at the same time, then who cares about those statistics? We're gonna fix it. So that's what I think. So I'll invite everybody to think as we go forward, what world would you really, really like to live in? How would it look like and be like and feel like? And what would your company look like, be like, and also feel like? And what if we could all really be heard, seen and valued and felt by another? And I think that's where we can really help each other, that when we are with each other, that we see, as particularly women who so often haven't been seen or heard and valued or even felt for who they really are. So if we do that to each other, then I think we will have that real deep feeling of self-worth that will change who we are. And even on days when we feel bad and vulnerable, it doesn't matter. Everybody have those days anyway. So it's I think so many women have engaged in so much healing lately and are doing that, and we are coming out of it. And yeah, that's something I also want to share with you. I think precisely because many women have had hard times, we have had a chance to look at many obstacles, and because of that, we have grown stronger. So if you are not already journaling or doing some sort of practice to become more aware of that, I invite you to do that, so that we look at our life as a journey, like a river. We are on this continuous journey. And yes, it takes turns. There are stones, there are things coming up. And then we look at those and we face them and we go on as much as we can. I think my time is up. I'm not 100% sure, but
Thank you.
Kristin, thank you very much for your speech.
It was Kristin Engvig, founder and CEO of Win and Win Conferences. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.